All right, it's the 1st of August. We've got about 15 minutes, a little over 15 minutes, maybe about 17 minutes to the NY Open. Let's go to the charts. Just a second. All right, it's NFP today, right? That's the big one today, NFP. We've been waiting all week for it. In fact, we waited for the federal funds rate. And then the FOMC meeting minutes, and then today is NFP. So we've got about 45 minutes, a little over 45 minutes, 47 minutes to NFP. We're going to wait for news. We're not going to take up any trades, open any trades before news. We're going to analyze the charts. You got plenty of time for that. The price has been ranging for quite a while. Just a second. Okay. All right. So let's go to the charts. Right, what's happening here? Now let's look at the weekly. We're going to try to predict the weekly candle. It's not easy when there is NFP, but we're going to do our best. Okay. All right, so we are very bearish, all right? Based off the previous week, we're very bearish. This week, not so much, right? Based off the previous week, very bearish, big rejection, push down, price gapped in fact, candle closed here, next one opened about 155 pips below it, but this one, not very bearish, right? Not as bearish as that. The candle could go either way, right? That's why I said during NFP, hi. During NFP, it's a little difficult to predict the weekly candle close, right? This candle has done about 750 pips so far. It could do a lot more today. If there's a lot of volume in NFP, we could hit a 1,000+ pip weekly candle, right? Just going off last week, if you look at last week, I think we did about 1,100 pips. We could easily do 1,100 pips this week too, but all depends on how much volume is going to be there for NFP. Now, we've had a huge push down with the interest rate decisions and the FOMC meeting minutes, actually with the FOMC meeting minutes. But NFP will have to see. Are we going to have similar volume or is it not going to do anything today, right? Hard to tell. This candle is so far a doji, right? This could go either way. We could push up 250 pips, close bullish, and have a doji, or we can push further down and close a bearish candle. Now, this candle, there is not really much to go off this candle, so we'll have to look at the previous candle, right? The previous candle tapped 3430, and whenever we tap that area, price pushed down straight to 3265, and that's exactly what has happened, right? It pushed, we tapped higher, 3,500. We came to 3265. We tapped this, we came down to 3265. In fact, we came a little bit below and we created support around 3,250, right? Just under 3,250, we created support. The next time price tapped here, that area, we came down to 3265, right? So we've tapped here, we've come down to 3265, maybe just a few pips short of 3265, right? Yeah, like 20, 30 pips short of 3265, doesn't matter. But we've come down to that minimum area. Whenever we tap this level, this top level of 3430, we've come down to 3265, and that's happened already. So is price going to continue down, or is it going to push up? Now, the previous times we've come further down. We've come below to 3250. If you see here, we've come down further, right? If you come down further to 3250 and even down to 3230. So are we going to have a move down, or is price going to push up? Tough, right? We'll have to look at the 4-hour time frames. We'll have to look at where the liquidity candles are, where the zones are. Second, where the liquidity candles are. And then look at 30 minutes support or resistance, see what's happening on the 30-minute time frame. These three things we're going to look where supply demand zones are, where the high time frame, so basically where the 4-hour supply demand zones are. Sometimes they're visible on the 1-hour time frame, so we'll look on the 4-hour/1-hour supply demand zones. We're going to look for the liquidity candles, and then we're going to look for 30-minute support or resistance to see if these zones are respected, so the price can go in the opposite direction. All right. On the daily time frame, we're creating support, right? But support with no bottom wick. So price can easily push down, break the wick, and continue down. Now, I've also said this: whenever price gets to a decision level, this is a decision level. We spoke about this every day of this week. This is a decision level. This is a demand zone on the daily time frame, a drop, a base, and a rally. And the reason why this is a decision level is because this demand took out this supply, right? Drop, base, drop. We took that out on the way up. Therefore, this is a decision level, and price has tapped this level several times: once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5, right? 5 times. So we could push through. I've always said this: when price comes to a decision level or a 4-hour zone, even a decision level or a 4-hour zone, right? Not and, or a 4-hour zone, it comes there and you start to range in that area, then it's very likely price is going to break through that zone, right? So we're going to take a look at the 4-hour time frame and see how much time we've spent here, right? That could indicate that maybe we are trying to break through. We're going to go through, right? The lower time frames, the lower the time frames we go, the better idea we get on what price is going to do during the NY session. Let's go to our trading chart. Now, we were anticipating a buy yesterday, nothing happened. I said wait for I said wait for 30 minutes support to form, nothing happened. Price just went up, pushed down, no 30-minute for support formed, no sells to go up, right? In fact, we just came down to this liquidity candle. From this liquidity candle here, we had this drawn on the chart. From there, we came down here. That's all that happened, like a 140 pip move, and then we just ranged, and then the Asian session pushed down further, and now you seem to be pushing back up. Okay, so really nothing happened. I had given a setup. The setup idea was I was waiting for buys, but I was not willing to chase price up here because the price is also already in a liquidity candle and in a supply zone. So I was not willing to take any buys here. I was saying wait for a pullback, 30-minute support form, then take the buys to go up, and the TP levels were up here, first here and then further up here. But there was no 30-minute support form. This is the importance of waiting for candle confirmations, right? This is how important it is. You got to wait for your setup. I wait for my setup. You know, some traders don't. That's fine. But I always wait for 30-minute support or resistance to form, especially when price is ranging. You can see that price is ranging. We are flatlining here. You can see the EMAs are going sideways here, and price is ranging. So you got to wait for that 30-minute support or resistance to form to take a trade in your direction. Right, let's get rid of all of these lines. Now we've tapped this one, this liquidity candle. We're pushing up. Okay, let's get rid of this as well. So if you just look at the 4-hour chart, we're ranging, right? Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? What's that? 36 hours. just going sideways, nothing happening. Okay, nothing happening. Okay, let's start with our zones. Let's go to work. All right, now this is supply here. There is a drop base drop. That's the source. We came up there, we broke above that high, but we closed back inside and created supply again to push down, right? So I'm going to include that because I don't want to ignore that. That's the source that created this first reaction. This is the source, this is the first reaction, and supply was formed and price pushed down, okay? So we're going to extend it left, but this is the high and this is the base of the zone. 143, the high 482. Okay, we're going to take a look at this on the 1 hour time frame because price has crossed a psychological round number. Whenever it does that, we have to look at the lower time frame always to see if you've got that base right. Seems okay, we've tapped that area again. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think. Yeah, we're going to keep it like that. Keep it on based on the 4 hour. Right? So this is these two candles are the leg out. Very little volume. In fact, 3 candles moving out of the zone. These 3 here. That's the base. This is the first reaction where we formed. This is the source. The first reaction formed supply to come down. Okay. Now, next, let's look at demand. We have a drop and we have immediate rally here. So there is a demand zone there. Let's get rid of this. I'm going to redraw this. Right. There is a demand zone there. Let's take a look at that on the lower time frame because we need to find a base there. And again, this is the source, the rally, base rally. Price came into that, went below, and then closed back above and pushed up. Exactly what happened here. Right? That's exactly what happened. So I'm going to do what we did for supply. I'm going to push that to find the source. That's the source, and this is the reaction to it. The first reaction, and um, we formed demand again. So let's look for that base on the 30-minute time frame. Still nothing. Still nothing. Okay, gonna have to do that maybe. I don't like going on the 15-minute time frame, but yeah, there is nothing even on the 15. It's pointless. Um, yeah, I'm going to use that base, right? I'm going to include the bottom of this candle, but I'm going to use that base. It's the only way to draw it. 732, 163. Right. So we've got prices inside 130 pip range, right? for our supply. And yeah, I'm going to keep it as 4-hour demand because it's visible on the 4-hour time frame. You have a drop and a rally here on the 4-hour time frame. I'm going to keep that there, right? Okay, so the next thing is we're going to just extend all the other zones that we have drawn this week. We're going to extend them to the right. I'm not going to redraw them now. If you want to see how I draw my supply demand zones, you can just watch the previous streams. Just watch the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes of the stream. That's how I draw my zones, right? And there are hundreds of streams that I've done. You can pick any 10 of those streams and watch the first 20 minutes of it. Yeah, I'll extend a few more. It's about 490 pips to the upside. What will that look like? 500 pips. It'll look like a candle going bullish. Very possible. Because this candle is really not showing any direction so far. Even though we had a big drop during the FOMC meeting minutes, the FOMC press conference, price retraced that entire move, right? Almost the entire move, not the entire move. If you look on the 30-minute time frame, yeah, we've pushed down. This was, in fact, this was the FOMC. This was the move. So we corrected the entire move. We more than corrected the entire move. This was the FOMC press conference move. This one right here. This 360 pip move down. And that move has been corrected, right? This is the move that started earlier that day during the NY session that pushed price down 380 pips, right? That move has not been corrected yet. Part of that move has been corrected. About 50% of it has been corrected, right? Yeah, 50% of it has been corrected. Could we push up? Very possible. Very possible. We'll have to see. We'll have to draw zones, look at 30-minute support, and see where price could be heading. We'll have to see where the Asian lows and Asian and London lows and highs are. All right, let's continue with this. We still have about 30 minutes to go for news. I'm just going to, because it's NFP, I am going to extend these to cover. Yeah, that's good enough. 600 pip area is good enough, right? Now let's extend these liquidity candles to the right as well. Okay, there was a label there. You had marked that yesterday, it just got deleted. Okay, so that's all supply done, right? Now let's look at demand. We've covered about 400 pips to the downside. I think, well, maybe need to look at a few more zones below. There is a sliver of a zone left here. The next one is here. That is about 550 pips away. Yeah, that's good enough. That's good enough. What do you guys think? You guys think price is going to go up for NFP? Go down? What do you think? Any ideas? And based on what if you do have an idea, what is that based on? You can let me know in the chat. All right. Okay. Now, the next thing to do is we have two new zones here. We have a supply zone and we also have a demand zone here. We're going to take a look at these two zones and see if they are high liquidity zones, right? Let's go to the 1 hour time frame. Has this supply, that the new supply that was created, has it taken out any demand to the left, right? So we created supply here, pushed down. Yes, there's a rally, base rally here. We took that out. There is also this, a rally, base rally here. Price broke and took that out. So that is a high liquidity zone, right? This demand here, right? This demand that we've created, this was the source. This is the one. Has it taken out anything to the left? There is yeah, a drop, base drop here. Price pushed up, took out that high right there. Drop, base drop, four candles, four basin candles and a drop. We took out that, so this too is a high liquidity zone. This one, is this a high liquidity zone now? Yes, it is. This one took out this drop, this rally base drop, right? So this too is a high liquidity zone. This was one that, this is a zone that we had marked yesterday, I think. Yeah. Okay. Done. All right, next. Let's take a look at this area and this area and see if you have a high liquidity candle. Let's start with supply. So well, I'm looking for the largest bearish candle, either in the zone or left of the zone. There is this, which is a 177 pip candle. That seems the largest. That's a good place to start. Left of that is also this candle. That's a 283 pip candle. They're going to keep an eye on that one as well. Let's go to the 30-minute time frame. That's 118 pips. Yeah, this candle. This candle. See how that tapped there. Let's go to the 15-minute. Go to the 5-minute. I would keep it on the 15-minute. It's a 205 pip candle there. Yeah, that 15-minute candle is the largest in that area. And it aligns perfectly with price tapping this area. Yeah, we're going to keep it to that. 263,177. Two six three. Okay, that's a fairly big liquidity candle. Yeah, volume could push through this, both of these, easy, if there's a lot of volume. We'll see. We'll see what's happening. We'll take a look at the Asian lows and highs. We'll have a better idea. All right, let's take a look at this here. See if we have a new liquidity candle created here. Um, there is this candle. This is kind of outside the zone. That's a 91 pip candle. There is this. Yeah, really nothing there. 30-minute. 64. 79. Let's go to 15. Yeah, there is this one here. 15-minute. But we've traded below it already. We'll come deep into it, not below it. Yeah, 78 pip candle. Yeah, 5-minute is better. Double O 3,341. All right. Done. That's it. That's the analysis. We've still got about 18 minutes to news. Let's take a look at the 15-minute time frame and see what price has done in the Asian and London sessions. See where the market opened. right here. This is the market open. Opened exactly at 3289, just above 32. Tapped 3289 and opened. This is the market open here. Yeah, the market open is 3290.5, roughly 3290, 3290.5. Now, okay, it's correct, it's correct, correct, correct. It's 163, 526, 716. 044. All right, right. Let's take a closer look at what price has done. So for most of the part we've ranged. There's nothing happened. We've probably just ranged between. We're going to try to draw maybe support resistance levels as well in a bit and see what price has done, in fact, where the levels are. But that's the market open. We pushed down and we just ranged. We went sideways, right? So there was a bit of a push down yesterday from here, about 170 pip push down, and then just sideways, right? No volume at all, sideways. The market opened here. It tapped 3289 soon as it opened. It was moving sideways. We pushed up, then we pushed back down into this zone here into this zone. This was the end of the zone right here. We broke below it, and then we created a liquidity candle for price to push further up, right? Created a liquidity candle closed above 3289, price dipped back into that liquidity candle and to 3289. Now before it did that, it created the Asian low, then created the liquidity candle, dipped back into the liquidity candle and 3289 and pushed up to the EMAs, right? Created the Asian high, it pushed up to the second EMA. It tapped it, created the Asian high, pushed down, came back to the liquidity candle, pushed back up past the Asian high to 3,300. Created the stop there, rejected, created the London high, pushed back down all the way down deep into the liquidity candle, created 30-minute support. There you go, 30-minute support, and created the London low and pushed back outside of the liquidity candle back to the Asian high, tapped it, closed above it, went past the London high, came down, rejected, went to the liquidity candle, tapped the liquidity candle, rejected, and ranging there. Ranging at 3,300 and the liquidity candle, right? Now, 30-minute has closed at at the at this level at 3,300 and at the London high just under the liquidity candle. We could be pushing up to fill this candle first. That's very possible. That's about a 70 pip move up, and maybe we could be heading further. We've got about 12 minutes to news. Let's look at the 30-minute time frame. What's happened so far? Price has created support. One second. Wait, just one second. Let me just save this. Okay. It could be pushing up. Yesterday, we got this area here. The price could come to and push down here. Yeah, could come up there. 3311, 3312, 3312, or even further up, 33 above, 3313. Yeah, that's where we're heading, 100 pips. That's where we're heading deeper into this. If the push is up, then we're going to drop here. If the move is up, we're going to drop here and then push up, very likely. Going to drop under this and then push up. If the move is down, we're going to come up here and then reverse. Yeah, we could be pushing up here. Could be pushing up. Let's look at the 4-hour time frame. We created support here. Yeah, we could be coming above this. Could be coming up here, all the way up here. The weekly is, we have no direction on the weekly. The daily is pushing up. We've created daily support. There's a wick to fill on the daily here. Let's look at this here. On the weekly, there is no direction. The previous week was bearish, but this week could go either way. I said this is a doji. So far, we have a doji on the weekly time frame. On the daily, we've created daily support. There is a daily supply level here. We've kind of tapped that, right? But there's a big wick to fill. It's a big wick to fill, 250 pip wick to fill. Price to push up, right? We could fill that wick and continue to go higher and head to 33.32. That's very possible. It's a 290, 300 pip move up. And if there's a lot of volume, we could be heading to 3350, right? Very possible. If we look at the 30-minute time frame here, we didn't spend time. This is my concern. If we spent more time here, we could have argued that price is going to come down, break, and continue down. But we didn't spend time. We spent an hour here, just an hour. Candle tapped, 30-minute support formed, price shot straight up, 450 pips, right? We didn't spend time. And I said this at the beginning. I say this always. When price doesn't spend time, it just spends 30 minutes to an hour, a couple of hours at a level, at a decision level, then it's very likely a reversal. And this could be a reversal of a price to push up, right? Price could be heading up here. Let's go back to the daily. It could be filling this wick and coming up here and even up here. Very possible. If that's to happen, the weekly candle is very likely going to, at least for the time being, for the first 2 hours, flip bullish and then maybe later flip bearish again, right? Just keep in mind what I said. On the 30-minute time frame, if that's to happen, we are pushing up already. Price should come down to grab liquidity. Still have about 6 minutes. Hmm. Okay. You gotta be careful of this area. But if we pull back, and the reason for this is the reason I'm looking at this area, let me explain now. Create a liquidity candle, price stepped in, there's a weekly SR level, 30-minute support formed just under the weekly SR level inside the liquidity candle. The next candle broke the high and closed above, and we are closing above. This candle is very likely going to close above the London eye, so we could have a pullback. Uh, mm, mm, mm. Yeah, yeah. I would move this up here. to this rally base drop. Move the supply. Couple of minutes more. What numbers are they expecting? Expecting bad numbers. Expecting bad numbers. Let's see. If you get good numbers, we might push down. If you get bad numbers, then we might continue to push up. Let's see. Just a minute more for news. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a buy if you come in here. I'm not going to, it's going to be a little bit careful. Yeah, let's see what this 449642. As low as 540. This is high. Well, 356, 679. I'm going to wait for 5 minute. That's what I usually do. NFP, CPI, wait for 5 minutes support or resistance to form. I'm going to wait at these levels for 5 minutes support or resistance to confirm the direction, right? Let the news come out, let price do its thing. I'm not going to rush into any trade. I'm waiting for confirmation, right? At these levels, either up here, I'm watching this area. This was created in the London session on deep inside, and then we push down. Let's see what price does. Not gonna let it do its thing. Not going to do anything right now. Let it do its thing. Just going to patiently wait. Pushing up. I'm waiting for 5 minute. 5 minute time frame. Not doing anything until I see something on the 5 minute time frame. If you reject here, we could come down. Pushing up. Pushing up. Look at that weekly candle. It's about to go bullish. It's continuing to push up. I think we're going to have a drop later on. This could be a liquidity grab. I think we're going to have a drop later on, and this could be a liquidity grab. Yeah, we've gone deep into that liquidity candle. And get rid of this. We don't need this. Go deep into this liquidity candle. I spoke about this. If you were here on the streams, you'd have heard me say this over and over again last 2 days. There is liquidity above 33.33. There's a liquidity above that. I think we're coming up to grab liquidity to push down. Let's delete this now. We don't need this. We don't need these. Pushing up. Weekly candles flip bullish. We're coming to fill that gap. Very interesting. 155 pip gap. Where was it? What was the day? 28th. 28th here. There was a gap here. There was a gap here. 155 pip right here. That's the gap. Let me zoom in. This is the gap. And that's where price is coming, exactly coming to that gap. We spoke about this invisible candle. Watch this area. Let's go to 30-minute time frame. I want to see what's there. What's happening on the 5-minute time frame? Nothing. Yeah, we're bullish. Nothing to do. Nothing to do. We're bullish. Let it run its course. Let it run its course. It's coming up here. Yeah. 33, 33, 33. 33, 33 is where we're heading to. 33, 33. Spoke about this. 33, 33. That's where we should be heading to. 30. We're getting close to that. We're in that gap already. We're in that invisible bear candle. Let me show you guys. This candle right here. We're inside that. The price do its thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there we go. There we go. 33, 33. Past it. Right. Let's get rid of all of that. All right. Now there's liquidity above that. Now let's see what price is going to do. Are we going to head higher, deeper? Daily candle has flipped bullish. Weekly has, daily candle has gone past that level. We've filled the wick and we've gone up. Let's see, are we going to continue up? Then if we're going to continue up, just really need to wait for a pullback and take the buys to go up. Yeah. There was no way to enter this trade because price opened and straight up 340 pips. What were the numbers? The numbers would have been really bad. Yeah, it was bad. Oh no, very bad. 73,000. Yeah, kind of bad. A lot bad than expected. I've seen worse. Just give me a second. What's happening on the 5-minute time frame? Yeah, we're closing bullish. It's nothing to do here. Gonna wait for the next 5-minute candle also to close. Very likely there's going to be a trade, I think, later on today. Let's see. Flipping bearish. Could be. Yeah, it's nothing to just wait. Just wait. 5-minute close bullish. We're pushing further up. 350 pips, 17 minutes more for this candle to close, 30-minute candle to close. Let's see how far we go. Probably pushing up here, 50 pips up. Heading to 44. 33.44. Maybe even 33.50. Yeah, we're heading to 33.50. It's just a straight push up. Let's get rid of all of this. Yeah, we're pushing up from here. Pushing up from here, so it is. So this made sense. Price spent a very little time here. This was a reversal. Price made sense. We went past these. What I'm going to be looking for once all of this settles down, you still have about 10 minutes for the candle to close. Pull back, support, take the trade to go up. That's it. That's all I'm going to be looking for today. A pull back, price to create support, and to go back up. How far are we from the EMAs? Very far. Yes. So you can wait for 15-minute support to form. Pull back, 15-minute support, and price to head back to retest the high. That's it. That's all I'm waiting for. Hmm. So we mark this level. We marked this level earlier this week. This is the previous weekly low. If we stay above, then we're continuing higher. That's it. Stay above this. If a 30-minute candle stays above this, the 30-minute candle stays above this, we're continuing higher. If a 30-minute candle closes below this, then we're coming back down, right? So for price to stay above it, price to continue higher, then it needs to stay above 33.2504. Let's look at the weekly time frame. Where are we heading to now? Pushing up, daily pushing up. Yeah, 33.50, and then even further up. Yeah, around 33.58 is possible today. What's the 640? Yeah, you can easily do 800 pips today. Very possible. Very possible. This reversal. We've tapped that. We are pushing down right now. Created resistance. Create a 5-minute bear candle. I'm just waiting for a pullback. Waiting for a pullback. 30-minute candle is closing here, well above, very bullish. It's a 433 pip candle. Wow. We're going to get a pullback before we continue higher. Or is price going to just push up and break the high and continue even higher? Heading to 3350. But I'm hoping for a pullback before we go there. It doesn't seem like it. I think we're pushing further up. I don't think we're going to pull back. Let's see. I'd like to see a pullback here. Create 15-minute support around 33.25 and then push up. Take the trade. If it doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen. There has to be a decent pullback. Maybe now, maybe later on, maybe in the next, maybe after NYSE open, the pullback might start after the NYSE open. But I want a pullback into this candle, into this candle. It's not happening. We're just pushing up. Yeah, we're just pushing up. It's no pullback. Maybe later on. Maybe later on. But right now there is nothing. Just a straight push up, 400 and probably heading up here, 470, even 500 pips without a pullback. Yeah. There has to be a pullback for me to take a trade today. All right. I'm going to end the stream now because even if there is a pullback, it's going to take time. It's not going to happen in the next 30 minutes. It's going to take for price to come to a decent area into this candle, the 50-minute time frame somewhere into this candle closer to 3325, and then head up. It's going to take time. It's going to take time. Yeah, still pushing up, creating support, pushing up, heading to 3350. I knew this wick was going to get filled, but there's no way to getting on this trade. There's no pullback to getting on the trade. Price opened, pushed up. There's no pullback. If there was a pullback to the fib that was drawn, maybe we could have gone up, but nothing. Yeah, so we're still pushing up. We're heading towards 3350, maybe even higher. There we go, 3350. No pullback to take a trade, nothing. We broke the previous 15-minute high and we're just about to tap 3350. All right, so that'll be the end of the stream. I didn't take any trades. Um, If there is a pullback later on, maybe I'll look into it. But NY Open, NFP, nothing. If you're trading a breakout, yeah, great. You can trade a breakout, put your stop loss under the swing low and take a trade, but I don't trade breakouts. I was waiting for that pullback. That never happened. Price just opened and pushed up 450 pips. Yeah, 460, 470 now. We're heading there. All right. Yeah, I had said at the beginning of the week we were heading up here. It's just that I was hoping that we would have a pullback and then push up. Unfortunate. All right. See you guys tomorrow. See you guys on Monday. 7:30 a.m. EST. Take care. Don't overtrade. Don't over risk. It's a Friday. If there is a pullback, that was definitely a reversal. So if there is a pullback, that's the trade you want to wait. It will happen. It'll just not happen now. Wait for the 4-hour candle to close, which is in about 48 minutes from now. So wait, come back to the charts in about an hour, 1.5 hours, and probably about an hour. And then take a look at the charts. There should be a pullback, form support, and price to go back up to retest the high. That's the trade you want to look for. 15-minute support is fine. Just wait for a pullback to a decent level. 33.32 is good. 33.25 is even better. Wait for support to form. 15-minute support is okay, and a 15-minute tradable bull candle close is okay, but 30-minute is even better. If you wait patiently for a 30-minute support to form, that's even better, and then take the trade to go up. All right. See you guys on Monday, 7:30 a.m. EST. Take care. Have a great